Hello guys, my name is Saku. I'm going to be your League of Legends coach today. This is a brand new YouTube channel, and in this channel our goal is to help people under diamond to climb in SoloQ. So, we're planning to make 3 to 4 videos per week, and we would appreciate a lot if you could give us some feedback in the comments. And also our first goal is to reach 100 subscribers, so we would also be thankful if you would help us with that. But yeah, let's get straight to the video. 5 mistakes low elo players do and easy ways to fix them. Okay, so let's get straight to the first thing. So the first thing we want to talk about today is perma pushing every wave. This is really uncommon, I would say, even in higher elos, that people are perma pushing the waves without any reason. Of course, if you have some kind of reason behind pushing the waves, it's okay, but you should always have some kind of idea if you actually want to push the waves, right? Because if you push the waves, of course, especially in bot and top, because the lanes are so long, they will have much higher chance to kill you. Because if you want to fight here, this means that you can only trade a bit, right? Especially if the lane is like Senna Jhin, as you can see here. And it's really bad against Blitzcrank Kai'Sa, because if Blitzcrank hits a hook, you're gonna be under turret anyways, right? So if your goal is to fight, you should never really push the waves, because then it means that they can just freely farm under the turret. And if you want to roam, or if you want to do like get baitings and stuff like this is fine. But then you also have to remember that it's really dangerous to just stay, and if you push like 3 waves in a row, the enemy jungle is gonna gank for sure, So I'm just gonna roll the clip here. We can see that in this game, the bot lane is just perma pushing every wave, and I'm just gonna show you why it's bad, even though they have pretty decent vision, as you can see. They have the vision for in the river push and also in the terra push, and they're pushing every wave. And meanwhile, as you can see, the Jhin is just like chilling in the lane, so the Jhin is not doing absolutely nothing, right? At least the Senna is putting some deeper vision in the river, but they are not really getting anything from pushing the waves. And as you can see, even though they realize that they are warded, they still will go for the play, and they get the kill for that. So here is a perfect example that if you actually want to fight, you should let the enemies push to you. So first of all, the wave should be here, and you have a much more longer distance to fight the enemies. And the second of all, you're not that gankable, and you can actually like your jungle can actually gank you much easier, because in lower elo, jungles won't gank the lanes that are pushed on the enemy turret. Let's go to the another thing. The second thing what I want to talk about is overextending. So this is really important to know when you are overextending and when you should just back. Probably like 20% of the deaths in the laning phase usually happens because of this, and this also is really bad, because usually you get a lead and you just throw it away, and then you end up losing much more than what you actually got in the first place. So I'll just roll the clip, and I'll just explain at the same time. So I think there is 2 kinds of overextendings. What is happening in lower elo, it's basically after you get a kill, or after you have a lot of gold and enemy packs, you decide not to pack, and then the enemy comes to the lane with better items, more HP, more mana, and usually they even have a nicer wave to play around. So as you can see, here's a little fight. Yone is going in. It's a 4v1 kind of fight, and they get the kill from this, right? Of course, right now there's not much gold on the bot lane, so there's not really point to pack. And then here we kill enemy support, and the ADC cannot play the game as well. So the thing in here is that if you're gonna stay in lane for longer, I don't think it's that bad. But the thing about here is that you have to make sure that you don't push the perma push the next waves. As you can see, I just want to show you. So what is gonna happen here is the guy's gonna push the next waves in, and then you go back in, and they don't really do anything. They get one plate, then they just push, push, push. This is also from the last mistake as well. So it's just perma pushing every wave. Of course they want to probably have the plate, but because they killed the enemies are coming already to the lane, and you can see already in here they get the second plate. They want to create for the next wave as well. They're trading, and now when they actually have a decent amount of money, they should have backed already. They're gonna die in here, and this, because they died, it's not that word anymore, because what they got before was Drake, kill on Yone, kill on Braum, Jinx backed. They got 2 plates, right? And what they could have got without dying was if they just take 1 plate here, as you can see, just take 1 plate, and here you just want to back, because if you don't back here and you want to create for the next plate, it means you have to clear this wave as well. So yeah, the other thing what I really often see is that people kill the enemy bot lane, or they have like a nice 3v3 and they win it, and they go for Drake, and it's like a cloud Drake or something like this, like ocean cloud, you know, and the Drake is like making the jungle go like 20% HP, and the enemy comes straight from the base, and they just kill the guys and get the Drake as well. So just remember, in early game always check if you actually can buy something with that gold, right? And then after that just straight back and come to lane, because that's like, these 2 things are probably the most biggest mistakes in lane, and these are so easy to fix. You just want to back after you get the advantage in the lane, right? And yeah, if you want to see it again, you know, just stay, boom, 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 and it's not even close. And now the Aphelios also burns flash, and he's gonna die anyways, right? So yeah, so the third thing I would like to talk about is autopiloting vision really hardly on early game. So what I mean by this is there's a lot of players who every time put the same wards regarding on, like, they don't care about anything like what is happening in the game. They will always do the same wards in every game. So for example, this is probably like the most basic thing that I see. So you're playing blue side, you get the first push, enemy is gonna play under the turret for the second and third wave, and support always goes and puts the same ward right over here, and then they go back to lane and then they just play this. It doesn't matter if the enemy jungle shows stop, he will still do the same ward. Doesn't matter if if you know that enemy jungle is like a Rek'Sai or someone who wants to come from behind and try to cheese gank you, doesn't matter, they always do the same ward every single time. This is really important that you kind of think about stuff like, you know, if you see the enemy jungle on top side, that you want to go and put a bit deeper vision and stuff like this, because these wards will like save the early game so much. Like these wards will actually help your team so much, it will help you so much, like it will do so much for you, and I don't think people even realize. Because if you know that the enemy jungle is walking here and he's gonna go to Cromp, and after Cromp he's gonna go here, you already know that, you know, he's looking for gank and stuff like this, right? With this ward, the only thing what you see is if the guy uses like a blast gun, right? And let's say the jungle is like a Jarvan or something, they really don't care if you see them or not if you're playing here, right? Because if you're playing here, he's gonna jump here, he still has the EQ, right? So what I mean by this is you should always just check a bit, right? And you should always look the best options. Like for example, if you want to put the ward in the river and you know that the enemy is probably gonna come to bot, just put it like here, right? Because then you know if he's gonna go first to scuttle, if he's gonna like use the blast gun later, or if he's gonna jump over. You have much more area in here, what you get from the vision than what you get from here. The second thing is also that if you know that it's gonna be like a hard lane, you usually want to play from the pushes. So sometimes like one guy is gonna ward the pushes, like either this or this, and the other guy usually just wants to put like a decent ward here so you can see the jungle. But I promise using these wards, especially in bot lane, is really good. Also, this ward on top lane and like these wards on mid lane. These are really good wards, and not just autopiloting these wards, because same thing in mid. Let's say you put a ward here, you don't even know which side the guy is. You're gonna play in the middle of the lane because it's gonna be like a lower elo, nobody cares, and the guy is gonna go from either here, or he's gonna gank you here when you're holding this, or he's just gonna go from the other side, stuff like this. It's really important you try to put it either here, stuff like this, that you actually get some decent information, because these things cover so much more than like these wards. Yeah. So the next thing I want to talk about is minimizing your useless information in your screen, right? So usually if you watch like lower elo players, you can see that their HUD is like fully scaled, the chat is like full, you're just like doing this, if in the longer term it's gonna look like disgusting, like this, and then usually you have like a professor or blitz.gg, stuff like this, and then you have like a Discord popping off, and then it's like so much information that you actually don't need at all. So what I want to talk about is just couple settings everybody can just easily adjust. Of course, the settings are mostly what you prefer, but I would just recommend using a couple of these settings. So HUD scale, I don't think you really need this at all, right? Because you already know what you have in your inventory, you already know like the spells, right? And you only think what is the important things are the cooldowns, right? And you can see them for sure, even though it's lower. So I would recommend you to put the HUD really low. Of course, these are kind of like what you prefer. I prefer having the cursor scale a bit lower, so the skill shots are a bit easier to hit. Chat scale, I would recommend just to put it like a really low, because the thing about chat is like you really don't need this, especially in lower elo. Like there is so much useless information. Like there is really rarely actually information that you can use from the chat. It's usually like, yo jungle, come here, I need you. It's like, or it's like so useless. You don't need this really. Like it's really rarely, even in higher elo, that people are like timing summoners and stuff like this. So you really don't need this usually. Minimap is the only actual thing that I really recommend to put a bit higher, because I think one of the biggest mistake also what is happening in lower elo is that people are not checking the minimap. So the wars we were talking about, the information which you get with the vision, it's also usually thrown away, because people don't even watch the minimap, so they don't even see if the guys walking from mid to bot. Like I promised them, like the whole river could be like warded, but they don't care, because they don't see it. The guy can just like perma chill, drink coffee and walk to bot lane, and he's still gonna get like a double kill because the enemy bot lane just doesn't check the minimap, right? So I think overall, the minimap should be fairly big. And then of course this doesn't matter. And the other thing I think is really important is to put in here the champion name and not the summoner name, because usually people have like really disgustingly long and weird names, and what you're thinking is like you just go and lane and you're like, ha, this guy has like this name, and you start to think about stuff you shouldn't really think. So this is also really useless information. If you put it also, if you're like Discord with your friend, like duo partner or something, it's much easier to call in the fights the targets when you just know the name right away, so you don't have to think any extra. Also, this is something you can also change, so you don't have to like start counting like you have to start counting like or like doing mathematics, like how many seconds are like how many minutes are these seconds and stuff like this. But yeah, I think those are main things. And also just a small extra tip is if you're playing in lower elo, I really recommend you to start doing unlocked camera, because this will give you so much more information about the game, especially like if you're playing, let's say you're playing in the lane and you're used to playing this, but then if you start to play it and you can actually start to play like this, you have so much more information all the time about the game, right? Because you like, if you're here, this is like really useless information what you get from here, right? You don't need anything that is on the bottom left corner and stuff like this. So, and also for the junglers, this is really important, because I see so many guys who are ganking top, and what they do is like they go here and they check, oh, like, ooh, okay, that's a really good gank, and then they would do this. And they are like, okay. And then when they're like here, they realize, like, you know, of course they don't do that, but they realize here, like, guys, my guy is dead, and there is like 3 other guys, you know, stuff like this, you know. So I really recommend to start using the like unlocked camera, and also if it's hard for you, just put this like really low at the start, so you can just, you know, it's gonna go really slowly, so you don't have to move that much, you know. But yeah, these are a couple tips for the settings. And next one, we have the last thing. So the final thing what I would like to talk about is CS. So if we watch any of the gold players OBGG, you can usually see that their CS per minute is usually under 7. As you can see, I check these players in here, except the supports. All of them are almost every time averaging under 7 CS per minute. And the thing about this is, okay, there's like, you know, there's a couple, right? But the thing about this is really important, especially on ADCs and top laners, and also in mid laners, to make sure to catch the waves in the mid game. I don't mean like, you know, that, because there's a lot of people who say, oh, just CS better, you know. Okay, look, in lane, I don't think, if you don't know how to CS that well, you know, I don't think there's really a solution for that, my man, you know. But what I want to say to you is that in mid game, just try to check the side lanes, you know, because there are still 3 lanes, right? So there's a ton of XP and gold missed on side lanes, because you usually just perma ARAM every game, right? So that just make sure you can just get the CS from the side lanes before you group, because these things, especially as a top laner and ADCs, are really important, because they usually spike at 3 items. If you get the items before where you usually get them, and you get them for like really important teamfights, this is like game changing. But yeah, I'm not saying you should, you know, turbo focus on CSing in lane, because the thing is, you usually then start to do a lot of other mistakes. But just in like mid game, late game, you know, after 50 minutes, just check if there is some sides you can catch some waves, you know, maybe take some camps as well from your jungle. And also from the for the jungle players, it's really important that you also take the camps before you start to do other stuff. Otherwise, you will fall so behind on XP. But yeah, I hope you guys learned something today. And thank you for watching the video. If you think that this video was helpful, I hope you leave a like and comment. Also, if you guys are gonna, you know, climb some elo in next 2 weeks, just come back to the video and maybe show some love to us. That's the only thing I'm asking. But yeah, I will be probably making some more content like this in the future. So we will see you later anyways. So see you guys and have fun.